Have you ever heard this advice? Stop looking for it and it'll find you. And every time I hear this advice, which I hear a lot, I don't know about you, but it pisses me off. I literally want to slap someone when I hear this advice. The reason being is that it's crazy, insulting, and it's not at all practical or supportive. Because A, if I could have stopped looking for it, I would have. So let's say the example being you are looking for love. Or you're looking for romance. Because you hear this a lot. People hand out some advice to you. They say, you know, I found my partner when I just stopped looking. I just was easy and comfortable in myself and I stopped looking and boof, that's when I met him. Or you hear spiritual teachers tell this to you when you're searching for enlightenment. As soon as you stop looking for it, boof, it'll happen to you. So this is when I want to reach up and slap someone because it is not practical. However, there's this little gem of truth in there that's being pointed to. Unfortunately, it's cloaked in so much ridiculousness we can't get to it. But let's see if I can extract a little bit and get to some truth here. So to begin with, of course, it's terribly insulting, or I think it's terribly insulting, because A, if I could have dropped my intense desire for love or for God, I would have. I would have a long time ago before I talked to you. Secondly, the advice is pointing to the fact that the desire, your passionate desire, is the problem. And in fact, that's so not true. The impassionate desire that you have is essential for your creativity. And it's not to be pointed as the problem with you or the problem with why you're in pain. And 3, repressing something or shutting down something never will create manifestations, never has, never going to. So in 3 ways, when we hear this advice, it sucks. But in reality, what is being pointed to is the fact that if we drop our graspy need for something, we will be in a much more comfortable place. Great, but how do I drop my graspy need? If we look behind the graspy need, you're always going to find a story of lacking. Some kind of programming or belief system that says you're lacking some worthiness or you're lacking some value. And fundamentally, that's the movement behind the grasp. Now, this is not simple or easy to get rid of. You can't just pluck it. Otherwise, you would have. You're going to need to do some healing work. You're going to have to go right down to the source of that core belief system and give it some support and give it some love and give it some time to help unroot out of your system. Now, healing is a huge thing to do, but that's what's required in order to let go of the grasp. Once we start to support and give some healing and give some love to this real core belief system of lacking, let's say, now we can be without the grasp. But that second movement, which says, you know, if you could just let it go, it'll find you, tends to lead us to kind of want to repress or sometimes quite often shut down. You just were looking so much for God, for enlightenment. You know, you went to every teacher and read every book, and you've been around the block and back and spent $50,000, and you just shut the whole system down and get interested in something else. Now, repression is not the way to go. We don't want to actually shut down or repress ourselves. It's like putting a whole veil or a block and pushing away. It's a little bit painful to you because it's not really true. It's an active movement, but it also makes us unavailable for what it is that we're looking for. What we need to know how to do is channel that desire. We need to know that that passionate desire is really essential for creativity. And we need to know how to channel it just in the same way an artist does. The way a dancer feels a movement and allows themselves to embody it and live it and explore it without having to know what the dance is or who they're going to present it to or what the costumes are going to look like. There's no grasp. It's just feeling a movement, and it's not shutting it down, repressing it, avoiding it, not looking at it, not knowing it. So very much in the same way that an artist, a dancer, or maybe a painter would have an instinct and they're going to try to embody it. You can take your creative desire and you can daydream it and you can draw it, which is to take it on and to feel it and to taste it and allow yourself to feel what it is that you want to know, whether it's God or love. What is the flavor of that? What is the taste of that? And if we don't have a graspy pulling towards it or a shutting down and pushing it away, we're in this soft, open, creative space. And usually that's exactly the kind of space we need for fulfillment. That's how manifestation comes into fulfillment, that kind of space. Neither away from, which is hiding, nor pulling towards, which is grasping. We get to this space. Now, this is not a space you can just do in a second, and isn't it a great advice? This is going to take some work, and it's going to take some insight, but that's the place that they're talking about, and that's what they're pointing to.